Hi, my name is Jem Young and I'm an engineering manager at Netflix. I created this course to answer the question of, what do managers do and how do I become one? In this course, we'll learn that software engineering is more than code, and that engineering management is not a promotion, it's a role change. We'll also learn that there are many paths to management, and it's important to have the right motivation to become a successful leader in engineering management. I hope this course helps you understand if engineering management is right for you, and it helps you take those first steps towards leadership. Becoming an engineering manager, let's talk about the common motivations for people. They show up in control. People think they're in more control. They think there's more money. The prestige. Bigger impact. Yeah, maybe not. Growth. And the challenge of doing it. A common motivation of people becoming an engineering manager, control. I'll be in charge. I'll be the shot caller for the team. The truth is, you have less control than you did before, because here's the truth about dealing with people, and something that if you haven't thought about it till now, this is going to blow your mind. You can't make anybody do anything, and you're like, yeah, I can bribe somebody and they'll do something. I'm like, you still can't make them do anything. They're still making a choice. You're like, I can twist their arm. And like, yeah, you can say injure them. I don't recommend doing that. But you can, or you can threaten them, but you still can't make them do anything. They're still making a choice there. Sometimes it's a non-choice, but you still can't make anybody do anything. And this is the truth of dealing with people, is you have to convince them. You have to figure out what's their motivation and try to get them to see your perspective and many other strategies, but you can't make anybody do anything. You're like, well, I can fire them and that I can threaten their job. I'm like, you can, but you still can't make them do it. They're gonna be like, okay, see ya. I'm going to work across the street at your competitor. Money. People think managers and people managers get paid more. That is not the truth. I won't say how much money I make, but I'm not the highest paid person on my team. And that's fine. I have no problem with that at all. It's about value you provide to the company. I have a team of really, really smart engineers, and they do a lot. And the business says they provide more value than I do. That's okay. I'm totally fine with that. But there's this myth that like once you become a manager, you're going to make more money. Not true. It is not true at all. I'm fortunate to be able to set compensation and see market data for how much different roles get paid. And yeah, software engineers or managers are somewhere in the middle there. The truth is, though, as you go up, the salary bands are higher for becoming a VP or CTO, things like that. But again, the rarity of those roles is such that, what's it called? What's the math term? The expected value. Your expected value is actually better as a software engineer. If you're saying like, in the long term, I want to make more money, that's my motivation, which is fine. We don't work for free. We got bills to pay, got Ferraris to polish, You're better off being a software engineer if you're just in it for the money. And then again, on that expected value, there's just less roles. We talked about that earlier. And there's less job security. Who, in the latest rounds of kind of the tech downturn that we've all been dealing with, who are some of the first people to get laid off? Is it software engineers? It's managers. And then they consolidate teams under other managers. And that's the truth. The further up you go, the less job security you have. Prestige, the title, engineering manager. Sounds good. Looks good on LinkedIn. And people think with prestige comes respect. And that's not true at all. Maybe externally, maybe there's things the world values, other people value, but the truth is the title means nothing. To your team, it just means you're the one setting compensation. There's a lot of responsibilities that come with the role, but it doesn't mean they respect you. You have to earn that. And it doesn't come with the title. And this is the truth for anywhere you go in your career. You have to earn people's respect. It doesn't come by default. And the truth is, when you're making this transition to engineering management, you start at zero. You are now the worst person on your team. Where you were a senior software engineer or whatever role, software engineer, you actually produced something, you had skills that were valuable to the company. The minute you become an engineering manager for the first time, you're the lowest one on the team. You know the least about the role you should be doing. And it's important to be humble about that. It's something I didn't really think of in my transition was, I'm at zero again. And again, management is a role change. It is not better. It's not worse. It's a different role in software engineering. So prestige, if your parents are proud, whatever. I think externally, people look at, oh, you're a manager, you must be up here. But the reality is, you're just another person on the team, and that's what I tell my team all the time. My job is to make your life easier. It's to reduce friction, to give you guidance, to set long-term direction, and to be the umbrella that keeps you all shielded from the business side and all the things you shouldn't have to worry about. But is there prestige there? I don't think so. I don't think a leader should think of themselves that way. Impact. I can make a difference. This is true. I think this is fine motivation. It was actually one of my motivations becoming a manager. You can make an impact. You will make an impact. And everybody's like, oh, a positive impact. I'm like, yeah. Or a negative impact. So you don't think of that other side of the more impact you can have, the bigger the blast radius if you're wrong. It's something else to think about. You will make mistakes. I've made plenty of mistakes. And those mistakes are way more costly as an engineering manager. So if you're like, I want to make more of a change, you can, but think about the risk that comes with that, of being wrong. And the truth is, the impact that you will make is way less tangible. You know what I miss about software engineering is the binary nature of it's either works or it doesn't. Sometimes I don't know why it works. Sometimes I don't know why it doesn't work, somewhere in between. And there's such a purity and beauty in that, in like solving these hard problems, closing a ticket, pushing code, and you see it reflected in production. You don't get any of that as an engineering manager. Your successes are based on the team. The failures are yours. And that's just how it works as a good leader. So any impact you have is way less tangible. Even now as doing this for coming up on 3 years, it takes a lot of looking back to see where we started as a team when I first became a manager and where we are today, to be like, oh yeah, I did do that. But it's only looking back. When you're in the middle of it, you don't see it, you won't feel it. Sometimes you get lucky and like you have a good team meeting, the team's vibing. You're like, okay, this feels good. But those are very short-lived. In general, all the impact you have is less tangible and you can't actually prove it. You ever like shipped a big piece of software and you're really proud of it, and maybe hopefully your manager's like, great job, team. That manager there is questioning, like, did they actually do anything? Because they didn't write any code. And that's something you have to accept as a manager, is your impact's less tangible, and you have to just believe that you're doing something, because you won't see it. There's no metrics saying, like, you did something. Mentoring growing people. I love growing people. There's very little as satisfying as seeing someone struggling with something, you're coaching and mentoring, and then a few months, maybe a couple of years later, they're much better at it. A common one is public speaking. People usually shy away, especially software engineers, from public speaking. And then that moment when they get up there and present, and you're like, whoa, is this the same person? Like it's so rewarding, but that takes so much time to see. People don't change in a day. If you have a bad habit now, how long does it take to drop a bad habit? Could take years. And that's the truth about growing people, is that will take years and you don't control it. You can't, let's go back to the beginning. You can't make anybody do anything. You're like, hey, Jane, you're really argumentative in meetings and you have great ideas, but people don't want to listen to you. And they're like, yeah, I hear that. And then a week or two later, same thing. A couple months later, same thing. And you're coaching and mentoring them, but it's not changing. And that can be really frustrating because you're like, it's such an obvious problem. If you fixed it, you would be up here. But you can't control that. And that's the truth about growing and mentoring people, is it's rewarding, but it's also challenging. But to me, it is one of the most satisfying aspects of the position you can have as an engineering manager. And if your motivation is a challenge, that's a good motivation. It is a challenge. You will always be learning something new. Always. Because they're all different. People don't fit into a box. So if you're in it for the challenge, it'll be a challenge. And if you're not being challenged, you're probably not doing it right. Let's drop some hard truths about engineering management. these are, I guess, common myths, and we covered some of that in motivations on what people are driven by. But I want to tell you the really honest truth about engineering management. The truth about engineering management is you will become less technical. I keep talking about it, but it's really important as you make this transition from software engineer to engineering management. You become less well-versed in the goings-ons of things. You probably don't get into technology debates anymore because you're further away from it. And it's something you have to accept. If you try to hold on closely to the code and try to be as technical and try to be like, oh yeah, I'm familiar with this piece of code, let me show you my perspective, or let me try to slip in this PR real quick because like I think I know the fix. It just becomes a worse and worse idea. And the further on you go into engineering management, the less technical you become in terms of the day-to-day. It's something you have to accept. It's hard to do. It was hard for me to do because I built my entire persona as being a software engineer, a really good software engineer. And now all of a sudden, I'm not, but I am. I'm still involved. I'm not as technical. I don't know the nuances. I couldn't tell you the difference between React 16 and React 18, which, you're like, Jem, you write front-end software, you did front-end and you don't know that? I'm like, no, I don't. I could find out, but mostly I'm going to lean on my team to do that. I know how to ask the right questions. But in general, I'd say you become less technical over time. Another truth is micromanaging is easy and trust is hard. Have you ever had a micromanager? Is it fun? No, it's not fun. But I'd say micromanagement is the biggest anti-pattern of being a manager because as a manager, as we've talked about, you don't feel like you're doing anything. It takes a long time to actually see like, oh, I am doing something. I am impacting in this way. So being a micromanager gives that feeling of you doing something. Like, oh, I'm doing something. Oh, I told you to close that bug, and I told you how to write that code. And I told you, hey, you should upgrade this library. You become a real micromanager because you want to hold on to things and make it feel like you're doing something. But the reality is micromanagement is where a lot of people start. It's where a lot of people never get out of. They never let go. And you're just not effective being a micromanager. Because if you're focused on the day-to-day, who's focusing on the week-to-week, the quarter-to-quarter? That's your job. But if you're down there in the weeds with your team, trying to point out things, one, you don't trust them. It's obvious. Micromanagement means you don't trust the people you have, which maybe that's accurate. Maybe they actually need some performance coaching. But that's a conversation you should have. But a lot of people avoid that by micromanaging, by doing things for people. Trusting is hard, but you have to trust your team. You have to trust the team that they're smarter than you. They're better at coding than you are. They're more technical. They know more of the nuances, the day-to-day. But it's so hard to do. It's really hard to do. And I cannot stress how difficult it is to just step back and let things happen and not try to interject yourself. Another truth about engineering management, no one tells you how to spend your time. This is a hard one. It's a hard one for me even today, trying to figure out where I should spend my time. I'd say definitely in the first year, one of the biggest, hardest things to deal with was, what should I be doing right now? There's a lot of things you can be doing at any given time. I could be project planning. I could be looking at, hey, what's our plan for next year? I should be looking at growth plans for everybody on the team. I could be building rapport with my partners, looking at their roadmaps. I can be talking to my manager, figuring out like, hey, is our priorities right? I could be thinking about parties, like thinking about swag for the team. Thinking about team meetings, how they're run. Are they effective? Thinking about icebreakers. We talked earlier about finding the right icebreaker. Thinking about team dynamics. I won't go into all the things I could be doing, but there are dozens, maybe hundreds of things I could be doing at any given moment. And no one's going to tell you if this is the right thing to focus on in the moment or not. And it's something I struggle with sometimes. And this is hard. This is really hard. It doesn't sound like it, but at the end of the day, what most people want in life is for someone to tell them what to do. They do it, they check it off, and they move on to something else. Because it's satisfying, it's easy. But that checkbox doesn't exist as an engineering manager. There's no, you should do this, do this, do this, do this, and then your team is good. Because every team is going to be different. Maybe they're executing well. Maybe the social dynamics need a lot of work. They're all really smart people, but they don't talk to each other. That's something no one else can tell you other than you. And no one will tell you, like, here's the right thing to do that. So this is the truth of engineering management, is no one's going to tell you that, because you're the only person in the entire world that cares about your team. And that's not saying your manager doesn't care about the team, et cetera, and they don't care about each other, but your job literally is to care for your team and to pay attention to them. And no one else knows that better than you, because that's your job. So what does it take to manage your team and take care of them, make sure they're all functioning? I don't know. You have to figure that out. And that's really hard. And that's the truth of engineering management. And no one will tell you what to do. There's a lot of there's a lot of things you could do. And I can go to my manager and say, like, I have all these problems. These people are arguing, and they might be able to provide some insight. But they're not going to tell me what to do. And that's a pro and a con. They don't tell me what to do. Nobody tells you how to spend your time. And they seem like similar things, but they are different. Because there's a lot of things to do. There's a lot of things to spend your time on. And your allocation of time varies. There are hard things you're always going to spend time doing. One-on-ones. How much time should you spend on that? I don't know. Depends on your team. How much time should you spend project planning? I don't know. Depends on your team. What should you be doing next? So for me personally, I'm thinking about next year's planning. How much time should I invest in that? No one can tell. No one has that answer other than me. So it's really why I spend so much time on the truth of engineering management and motivations is you have to really believe in yourself, and you can't second guess yourself. Otherwise, you will get nowhere, and you're going to spit out, and you'll get nowhere. And this is really challenging. There is no checkbox of what to do. And all that leads into leadership is lonely. You've all heard the phrase, heavy is the head that wears the crown. Familiar with that phrase? Being in charge is a responsibility. I've heard it referred to as the lodestone of the leadership. You carry around this weight on your neck. It's true. It's true. I'm always thinking of, how's my team doing? Are they functioning well? Is there anything I could be doing better to help them overcome some hurdle, some gap? And doing all that is so lonely because no one else knows other than me. And I really can't emphasize how lonely leadership is. And the higher up you go, the more it becomes, the lonelier it becomes. So we talked about these skills you have to build up. There's different ways of doing it. And being a manager means you're immediately going to build up your skills, but you can do that ahead of time and make your life easier. So one way of doing that, talk to your manager about your goals. And this is true at any level of, if you're a software engineer or a manager or a director or whatever, talk to your manager about what you want. Again, it's like we were saying, you're going to end up somewhere on a direction. It's better to tell people, here's where I'm headed. Can you help me along the way? And your manager can help you find work, ideally. That kind of builds up these skills and builds up that work towards your goals. Talk to other managers. Learn from them. I learn from Ryan almost every time he talks about people leadership. One of the best people leaders that I've ever met. I learn from him all the time. But you got to talk to other managers because they will have either similar experience or different, but there's something there that you can just pick up and maybe a mistake that you don't need to make. Then ask your manager or other managers on how to move the management. I did that. I had a lot of one-on-ones with just people and friends I built up over the years. Like, hey, how did you move the management? What are things you wish you knew? And you will learn a lot there, a lot faster than trying to just blindly apply, throw your resume out there. Books are useful, again, but pick the right ones. I've read some bad management books, or ones I didn't agree with, my personal philosophy. But I still learned something there. Just people approach problems differently. This one's controversial. Everybody's like, Jem, you got to read The First 90 Days. Have you read that? Heard of that book? I did not agree with that book. I don't like the style. To me, it's too focused on self and your own personal success rather than like building people up around you. But that's just my opinion. So even this course, you may not agree with everything I'm saying. That's totally okay too. But it's good to educate yourself. Conferences are another good one. You know that there's conferences for managers. Did you know that? You probably didn't even think about that. Like, what managers at conferences? There are. Those are really helpful places to learn. Observation is one of the most powerful tools that you have. How does your manager behave? How do they show up? The managers that you're always like, yeah, they're cool. I like the way they show up in meetings, even if they're not your own team. What can you learn from them? You just watch them and see, how do they deal with those kind of spicy questions that people like to throw at them? How do they reflect on things? You can learn a lot by just watching how someone behaves. Becoming a mentor or getting a mentor is a great way of doing it. Mentoring itself is a great way of building up these management skills. Mentoring junior managers, mentoring senior managers, or sorry, not managers, mentoring junior engineers and senior engineers. Different skills required, different things they need. You will build up a lot of people skills learning how to mentor because you'll hear the problems that they have, and those problems you'll just see repeated over and over again. And then the last one is take on proximate roles. Team lead is a good way to start building up these skills. Even becoming a staff engineer and thinking about more of the business is a good way of building up skills. There's a lot of roles that are some aspects of engineering leadership that you might be able to pick up.